Streamers are always looking for fantastic resources to get more information on, or for tips and tricks to help them grow their own channels. Possibly why some of you are watching this YouTube channel right now. But one place that myself and plenty of other streamers consistently find themselves on is the subreddit r/Twitch. Yes, in today's video we're going to be going through some of the best questions this month from r/Twitch, and I'm going to be giving my honest feedback. I do these videos because r/Twitch is an amazing resource for streamers. There's some great advice on there. However, there's also some awful advice that sometimes gets bumped to the top for some reason. So today I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions on some really good questions. Make sure you stick around to the end because some of these questions actually surprised me that they were pretty good. You know what else is pretty good? The sponsor of today's video, Owned Pro. Owned Pro is an amazing plugin for streamers that allows you to manage all your alerts, designs, borders, swap them out, change them, and more. Owned Pro makes changing anything on my stream so simple and easy because of the fact that I can just do it without having to leave OBS. There's no browser sources I have to mess around with and change, and it just makes everything so easy to do even when I'm live. Owned Pro is available in loads of different languages, and they've recently partnered with Epidemic Sound to provide some amazing royalty-free music while you're streaming, all included in your Owned Pro subscription. So not only do you get access to some incredible music, you also get access to some amazing designs for your streams as well. Highly recommend Owned Pro. If you want to see why a load of streamers are swapping to something like Owned Pro, follow the link in the description below, and you can also use code xTwoShoes at the checkout to save yourself 50% off a subscription. That is insanely affordable for what it offers, so if you want to check it out, as I said, link below. Alright, back to the video. Question number one is streaming with a day job. For those that stream while having a day job, how do you deal with your day job changing your hours, forcing you to change your stream times? My job just changed my hours, and now I can't stream at my usual times. I know not being at my regular times will impact my viewership. How do you deal with this? This is a really good question and something that I definitely struggled with a lot before I was a full-time content creator. Look, unfortunately, 90% of people on Twitch have jobs as well. You can't always be in control of your schedule all the time. However, that's not to say that you can't grow just because you have another job. One of my favorite streamers on Twitch has a job where they change his hours literally weekly. He can never commit to a consistent schedule. But to combat this, what he does is at the start of the week when he gets his roster for work, he makes a nice little graphic with all his stream times for that week, and he uploads it to Twitter, Instagram, and puts it in his Discord. That lets his community know exactly when he's going to be live this week. Look, not everyone can commit to a schedule. I completely understand that. Sure, it definitely helps to be consistent with a schedule, but if you can't, literally letting your audience know when you're going to be streaming is such a great idea. Spend some time or else find someone who can maybe make you one of these graphics that you could put out on your socials at the start of the week or when you find out your work schedule for that week. When I first moved here from Ireland, I dealt with this a lot because I was staying with family. I couldn't really commit to a stream schedule. There was 4 of us in a house and people were on calls and all these things. So I just, by trying my best to let my community know, like in my Discord or on my Twitter when I'm going to be streaming, helps a lot. That's something I would absolutely do if you haven't already. Question number 2, will I feel more natural in front of the camera eventually? I was recording some videos to test my streaming skills and noticed at the moment I hit record, my brain seems to work at 10% of its capacity and it's frustrating. Do people get better at this eventually? The answer to this question is 100%. All you have to do here to know that I'm not lying is go back and look at my first ever YouTube video. I am the most awkward person ever. I'm like not looking at the lens, I'm looking at the viewfinder and I'm like hunched down and I'm really not confident. And if you look back at my first few streams, I was exactly the same as well. Everybody is like this, not just streamers. Think about it this way. If you are an amazing singer, no matter how good you are, the first few times you go out in front of an audience, you're going to be nervous and probably not sing as well as you probably can. Some people are just gifted and naturally don't mind being on camera, but for other people, it takes longer to get used to. I know this might sound a bit annoying, but the only thing I could tell people like this is that practice makes perfect. If you're not comfortable, you don't need to worry about doing some sort of trick or doing something to make you less nervous. It literally comes in time. What I would say to this person is they said they were recording themselves to try and practice streaming. It's a very different situation when you're live. Literally just being live and spending time live, you learn so much, not just about your own ability in front of camera, but also about you as an entertainer as well and how you talk to people. Again, if you go back and look at my streams, even as recently as 6 months ago, I'm a completely different creator now than I was 6 months ago. In 6 months from now, I'll be a completely different creator as well. You adapt and you change and you grow over time. There's no quick solution to these things. You just have to do them. This is an interesting one that's actually affected me quite a bit lately. I got raided while I was ending stream. What do you guys do when it happens? I was streaming past the time I usually stream and I got raided really late. I don't really have the choice to stay. I really needed to go to bed, but I felt awful doing it. I've only been streaming 2 months or so, and I'm still learning a lot. What do you guys do when this happens? Honestly, this has happened to me so many times. I'm just about to finish up for the night, and then boom, you get a lovely raid in. The conflict here in your head is that you don't want to seem unappreciative to the streamer who's raided you by being like, well, your raid's not important enough to make me stay live, so I'm just gonna dip. Normally, if this happens to me, I still end my stream, but I typically would stay maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes longer than I normally would, just, you know, to welcome people and chat with them for a little while. The minute you get raided, you want to turn on the optimal high-octane content creator persona so that you seem attractive to these new prospective viewers, right? You want to show them that this is a really amazing place to be and it's really good. But the reality of the situation here is you've most likely been streaming for a good few hours, you're probably tired, you're not going to be putting on as good of a show anyway, so the worst thing you could do for your own energy and brain for the next few hours is to force yourself to stay live when you're not making good content. Chances are you might know this streamer and they'll most likely raid you again in the future. Forcing yourself to stay live and wasting even more energy than you already have isn't great. You're not obligated to be live just because somebody's raided you, and you're not obligated to stay live. Again, thank the streamer, maybe hang out for 5 or 10 minutes longer than you normally would, and just let the streamer and the new chatters know, guys, oh, I was actually just at the end of my stream, I'm so tired. But if you're enjoying the vibe here and you want to leave a follow, I'll be back tomorrow or the next day or whenever. And just let them know, be transparent, and people will appreciate that. Nobody wants to see you sit there uncomfortable or tired. Just go to bed, get some rest, and hopefully you'll see those people again soon. This one I think a lot of streamers will have dealt with, and I deal with this a lot of the time. Getting harassed. This is a kind of am I the asshole, but I think this sub will help the best. So I stream a smaller MOBA, and I started streaming because I want friends that play and that I could play with. I would let a lot of people add me and we would play together. Lately I met someone on stream I duo really well with, and we've been playing ranked together every day. This is all off stream, I haven't streamed in 3 weeks. A viewer that I had added and used to play with about a month and a half ago would always request to join, but I didn't accept and told them my duo was on a win streak and I wanted to keep that momentum going. Long story short, a couple of days later I let them in my ranked game and they didn't do that well, and we ended up losing and I stopped playing for the day. A couple of days later they requested to join and I denied it. They ended up messaging me on Discord harassing me about how I only play with my duo. I eventually responded saying that I'm playing in my free time and I have the right to play with whoever I want and I don't owe games to anybody. They eventually snapped and called me entitled, a liar, and much more. They sent me like 10 messages in a row and didn't respond to me, and even started mentioning my boyfriend, who isn't my duo, he just watches and comments on my stream, by his username. The question is, has anybody dealt with this? It's really bothering me. This is one of my first viewers who would always come and watch, so I sort of appreciated them, but this behavior is not appropriate. I don't know how to feel. They've bought me skins in the game, but I've never asked for them. They were gifts, so I kind of felt a little bad for that reason, but this is my actual life, and it's bizarre to me that they're demanding free time from a stranger. Look, this is a really conflicting thing for streamers, especially when you start. You might have a particularly supportive viewer early on, or particularly overzealous viewer of yours from a very early stage who maybe gifts you subs or sends bits or does some of these things that support. That is fantastic and it's really great. And 99% of the people who do this will do so out of the kindness of their heart and genuine support and enjoyment of your content. And those people are amazing. Actually, and while we're on that note, thank you for anybody who's been watching these videos over the past while. I've been really enjoying making them, and it's genuinely so heartwarming for all the views and subscribers this channel's gotten. So I don't feel like I don't say that enough here. So thank you all so much. Seriously, it means the fucking world to me. However, there are some viewers who will feel that because they've done this for you or because they've been particularly generous, you owe them, or they have some sort of, ownership over you in a sense. A lot of the time people can't distinguish the person from the streamer, and they think that, well, you're a streamer, your job is to entertain and be there for the chat and be there for the community 24/7. As someone who creates educational content, a lot of the time I get people being nasty to me in DMs when I don't answer their questions back, or I don't have the time to respond or check out their streams. Like, I'm one person, I have essentially 3 jobs, as a Twitch streamer, YouTuber, and a video editor. I don't have all the time in the world, but people don't realize that, hey, why aren't you responding to me? You owe me that. I subscribe to you. I gifted you some subs the other day. Like, you gotta respond. And then, sometimes it gets a bit annoying. You have to understand that as a streamer, you are not on anyone else's time other than your own. If somebody is supporting you, thank them and tell them they're amazing, and that's great. However, it does not go further than that. It's inappropriate for the viewer to expect that it should go any further than than that. That just because they've subbed to you for X amount of months or because they've spent X amount of money on your channel, that they have some sort of extra sway on your life. It does not work that way, and never feel bad for ignoring or banning somebody who acts that way. Early on, I had someone in my chat who was particularly generous and would send quite a high number of donations and bits quite frequently. This person then one day started acting really inappropriately in my chat, and if I felt awkward, I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my god, this person's been such an amazing supporter of me, but at the same time, if someone else did this, I would ban them. And I had to just sit down with myself and say, just because they've spent a lot of money does not give them a right to act this way, and I just banned them. It was a hard thing to do, and maybe that person felt a bit awful about it, but just because you're supportive to a streamer does not give you the right to break the rules or to be abusive to the streamer. Think of it this way, if you worked in an office and you had a client that you dealt with as part of your job, that client is paying money for a service, however, they can't ring you when you're at home and demand you do things for them outside of work hours. That would be inappropriate, and that client would probably get in trouble for it. And you are also under no obligation to do anything for them outside of work hours. I don't want to come across myself here as ungrateful, but you have to set boundaries with your audience or with particular people. And again, just to reaffirm this, 99.999% of people who choose to support your stream have no other intentions. They just want to support the content that you're making. But some people, unfortunately, there's blurred lines with them between what's appropriate and what's not. So don't feel ashamed or don't feel bad. Tell that person to stop, or if they refuse to stop, removing them from your community. All right, this next question is my personal favorite and really got me thinking when I read it. I think it'll be a lot of fun to answer. If you had $1,000 per month to spend on growing your channel, how would you spend it? Imagine you were trying to speedrun growth and had been given this initial monthly budget. And let's assume you already have the gear, a good mic, camera, PC, etc. What do you think would be the best way to use it? Hiring editors, buying games, investing in the occasional high concept, Germa-esque stream? Just curious to hear what the community thinks. This is a great question because streamers, no matter what their size, always do end up spending some money eventually at some point on their streams. Now, I want to preface this by saying that more money does not equal growth, right? You still have to be a great content creator and you still have to practice the basic fundamentals of being an entertaining streamer. If you're struggling with that, there's plenty of videos on my channel that will help, such as this one. Let's say actually creating entertaining content isn't really a problem for you. You're good on camera, you're good at talking to chat, you're comfortable and all that stuff. Personally, I would spend it in creating a YouTube channel. A lot of streamers are afraid of YouTube because they may not have the skills to edit it themselves into the high production cost or value that is kind of required a little bit on YouTube right now. Not always, but there is a little bit of a quality ceiling. I would genuinely spend this money hiring a very talented video editor as well as a very talented graphic designer to create amazing thumbnails for your content. If you're someone who's not really too sure on YouTube, I would also find someone online who would give you a YouTube consultation or a YouTube kind of crash course on appropriate way to title things and all that kind of thing. A lot of the time you'll see streamers who will kind of think they're doing YouTube, but they'll just be uploading YouTube videos called like April 2022 highlight video. That's not clickable, but actually understanding YouTube and getting into the nitty-gritty of titling and thumbnails and editing with viewer retention in your mind is above another level. I would invest in learning that stuff. Possibly also a short form video editor, somebody who would edit TikToks for you on a monthly basis and just take all that work off your hands so that you can focus on creating amazing content while you're live on Twitch, because that content, as we know, can be recycled for YouTube and TikTok. Now, again, spending money does not always equal success. Sometimes it's time that you need to be spending more of. But if spending some money in this scenario would allow me to spend more time focusing on content as also resting so that I can create better content and have better energy while I'm live, that is a no-brainer. If I had that money, I would spend it in a heartbeat. Also, as it stands right now, if I had $1,000 extra a month to spend on content or my stream, I would just pay my mods. Even if it was a little bit a month, I would absolutely just give it to my mods. My mods do more for my content than anyone else. They help me create graphics, they help me look after the stream, they help me design things, look after OBS stuff for me. They're invaluable. If I could give back to them in any way, shape, or form, that's the first thing I would do, I would say. Reddit, an amazing resource for sure. I mean, if you've never checked out r/Twitch, you should go on it. People post some really interesting stuff. The mods are really, really good as well. It's not just a self-promo dump. And it's fantastic. If you guys want to see more Reddit content, do let me know. I love making these types of videos. It's really fun to just kind of look at what other streamers are thinking about other than just videos that I'm thinking. But a couple of things before we end the video. I kind of touched on it in the middle of this video, but I just want to say, I really do want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's been supporting this YouTube channel. over the last few months. It really has been an incredible journey, and I never thought just over a year after starting it we'd nearly be hitting 10,000 subscribers. So that's just so amazing. So thank you all for getting it this far, and thank you for watching the videos as well. It genuinely means the world to me, and I just love making these videos for you all, and the fact that you guys like them as well is fantastic. So everyone just give yourself a little pat on the back real quick. And also another big thank you to my patrons. Here is their names for this month. Thank you all. You help this channel stay alive and above the water, so thank you all. If you yourself want to become a Patreon and help support the channel, you can do so for as little as $1 a month, so you can follow the link below. Thank you if you decide to, and if you don't, no worries at all. Thanks to all my channel members as well. Becoming a channel member is also a great way to support the channel as well. All that's below too. And don't forget, you can catch me on twitch.tv/xTwoShoes 5 days a week. It's a good time over there. Elden Ring launches in 3 days, so I wish I could take a month off YouTube. If you want more stuff to watch while you are avoiding doing your real life things, you can check out this video about the new app that claims to help streamers with their discoverability and what we all think about it. It's a good one. Check it out. I'll catch you next week, everybody. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Much love. Bye-bye.